Hello, my name is Jennifer Smith, and here I am at the end of Module 2 for the Gifted Endorsement. I am really excited and I really learned a lot. I'm going to start with what we started with rigor. And in defining rigor based on McAllister and Saylor, I really learned about problem solving, questioning, evaluating sources, and decision making. Um, in actually going back to thinking about what rigor is, it helped me in the classroom to make sure that when I am working, especially integrating science and everything in my classroom, I need to evaluate the sources that I'm using. I need to look at the problems that occur so that I can help the students to build more rigor so that they can actually drive their own learning with their questions. As well, it just helped my classroom become more rigorous because when I was doing my research on that, I was thinking about the curriculum and instruction and how I'm going to pace it for my one students, while how I'm going to go with my other students, and it really helped me to figure out like who needed what, and then as well, um, I really fostered. It helped me to foster that supported risk and in that supported risk, like thinking about like a lot of students nowadays, they really want to be perfect. So at the end of the day, they tend to not take as many risks. So I feel like fostering these risks and allowing them to say, hey, you know what? We don't know everything. Everybody has questions about something. So let's go ahead and identify what they are and talk about them. And I've really noticed the accountable talk. And in the back of my room as well, as a side note, I have little sentence starters for accountable talk that when my students do get flustered or they get a little overwhelmed, I try to say, okay, look in the back and say, you can agree or disagree with somebody, but you can do it also in a manner that is respectful, and we move the learning button forward. Visible thinking articles. Visible thinking was huge for me. I feel like that was one of my big aha moments in this class because I think that as teachers, we assume that students understand how they think, and that's just the furthest thing from the truth. Um, I liked the way that I saw the concept maps, and those concept maps really made me think maybe I want to do those in the beginning of the school year so I can really identify who my students are and how they perceive their thinking. Because those visible thinking maps, we've always used them in ELA, but we never thought to use them, just for, social emotional or even figuring out what your best method of learning the curriculum is. Um, Education versus entertainment was huge as well because I think as teachers, we are trying to engage our students. We're really, really, really trying to engage them. And at the end of the day, it looks different and it is different. And sometimes we go into it and we're thinking that we are going engaging our students, but we're really entertaining them. And this requires a whole lot of reflection from our point of view to say, hey, what did I do well? What do I need to do? Where do I need to add the rigor? And this is where rigor comes into it. And that visible thinking, it all just kind of piles up and it helps the teacher become a better facilitator and the learners become more independent. Um, Finally, one of the big takeaways was my rubrics. We had many assignments where rubrics were required, and I believe that myself and a lot of classmates struggled with making a rubric that was aligned to the standards. Now, on the Marco Learning website that they added at the end, it really helped me to understand to look at those ALDSs and figure out exactly what each one of the levels were from beginning to developing to proficient to distinguished. So I definitely feel like I am using this in the classroom to amp up a lot of my reading responses as well as my science, and just in general, making sure that I am, I always tell my students, stay on your GPS. I need to stay on my GPS too, and I need to make sure that I am providing the instruction. So thank you, and this class was fabulous.